Here we are, another Reaction Monday, coming off another loss. The Eagles find themselves at 1-3-1. I mean, at this point, you are what your record is. And right now, we're inconsistent. What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. If you are new to the channel and love talking Philly sports, even though it's getting kind of hard, hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn on post notifications so you know when I go live or drop some content. On that note, if you woke up this morning on Reaction Monday and are still pissed off at Jim Schwartz, smash that like button. With all that being said, let's jump into Monday's reaction. So as we all know, this football team has been the definition of inconsistent. We get a good offense performance, a bad defense performance. We get a good defensive performance and a bad offense performance. We can't put a game together, and whenever we feel like the game can start to turn to the Eagles side, we go ahead and shoot ourselves in the foot. Whether it be a turnover, whether it be a horrible play call, whether it be a penalty on offense or defense, this team continues to shoot itself in the foot in all facets of the game. But before we get into the mishaps that happened on Sunday in the 29-38 loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers, let's talk about one bright spot, and that's Travis Fulgham. Coming off a pretty good game against the San Francisco 49ers where he had a couple catches, but the biggest catch was the 42-yard touchdown down the sideline that put this game in a favorable position for the Philadelphia Eagles. I was curious to see how he followed that up because we found out no Deshaun, no Alshon, and J.J. Arcega-Whiteside was coming back. But Doug Pederson stuck with Travis Fulgham. He didn't play him as much early, but he got him in the game, and then he showed out, proven that he can be our number one receiver, our X receiver, and when Jalen Reagor gets back, he could play the Y. So when you look at the wide receivers for the Philadelphia Eagles, after the departure of Alshon Jeffrey, Deshaun Jackson, and maybe even Zach Ertz, depends on how his attitude is, and even still, 2 years left, the money's not going to work. You're going to have Travis Fulgham, Jalen Reagor, Greg Ward in the slot, and Dallas Goedert as the featured tight end. And don't forget about number 26, Miles Sanders. Somebody got to remind Doug Pederson, we got Miles Sanders back there. If the run game's not working, the quick passes on the flats, the screens, stop that pass rush. But you know, Doug loves to abandon the run and not use his Alvin Kamara, his Christian McCaffrey in the backfield. That's what we got in Miles Sanders. However, I don't know when he's going to realize that, but that is the bright spot. TF13 is going to be in the mix, and I love the young core when you combine TF13, Jalen Reagor, Greg Ward Jr., Dallas Goedert, and Miles Sanders. And out with the old, in with the new. They work well with Carson Wentz. We get the offensive line healthy. I think that's a pretty good offensive set. You got talent, you got speed, you got hands. I love it. But let's get into this game because it bothered me. Let's start with Doug Pederson. Again, abandoning the run. Now, I know Miles Sanders couldn't get nothing going. It was back to the line, loss of one, gain one, back to the line, a 75-yard run, and then back to the line, loss of one. I understand that, but you got to stick with it. You got to be more creative. You got to use Miles Sanders in different packages. I didn't see no running back screens of Miles Sanders to slow down J.J. Watt and Bud Dupree. I didn't see none of that. You got to do that. And again, roll Carson out the pocket, move the pocket, get him on the move. I will say Carson played pretty well in the pocket, so maybe Doug was like, hey, he's doing well. You still got to do things to favor your quarterback, to favor this team. Maybe on that 3rd and 5, having a guy in the backfield, having Carson Wentz rolls out, gives him the opportunity to hit a receiver like Travis Fulgham, who's been hot. He did drop that pass against Joe Hayden. Or run for the first down. You kept his options limited. You had all these little slants and curl routes. You didn't even try to open it up and send somebody up the seam to spread this defense out. You kept everything right where the Steelers wanted to. Bad play call on 3rd down, which if we get that first down, the game is so different. To add to that, that whole offensive series before the half was horrible. I mean, Doug Pederson runs the ball on 3rd and 1. I understand you need one, but that was the first time out you had to waste. And yes, John Hightower made a rookie mistake by not going to the sidelines and getting out of bounds. But Doug, you got to continuously tell everybody on the sideline to catch the ball and get out of bounds if you can. Situational football. You're the offensive play caller. You might feel like you don't have to do that as the head coach. You wouldn't if you had a play caller, but you're supposed to get these guys together and say, by all means, especially the young boys. We got a lot of young guys out here. Get out of bounds. Do not try to bring it in for an extra 2 yards. That was horrible. And the last thing, because again, I really would like to see some rollouts, and there could have been a lot of better plays designed on offense, but the offense carried the load for the defense, so I won't get on Doug too much. I did not like that he didn't get the guys ready in the first set. I did not like that he don't use Miles Sanders, and more importantly, you can say yes, you can say no, but to me, I'm not kicking that field goal at the end of the game. 57 yards. We all know, and if you don't know, now you will. The longest kick in Steeler history at that field, Heinz Field, is 53 yards. The longest kick ever at that field is 53 yards. I mean, that is not the field to kick. I said in my play-by-play, if we are home, I kick it. On the road, 4th and 5, TF13 has been cooking. Carson has been cooking. You got guys who can catch the ball for 5 yards. Go for it. Go for it. The offense wasn't the problem. It was the defense. Go for it. There's no reason to kick a 57-yard field goal when nobody's ever kicked higher than a 53-yarder. And by the way, Jake Elliott's resume on 50-plus kicks, shout out to my guy DJ Eastwood, I think he's 5 for 12, which is not good. And when you combine that with Heinz Field, it makes it horrible. You should have went for it. But like I said, John Hightower, a couple blunders, but the offense carried the team. Let's get to the real reason we lost this game, and it was on the defense, personnel, and mainly Jim Schwartz. Let me start by saying the scouting report is out on the Philadelphia Eagles. There's 3 things that you can do that will kill the Philadelphia Eagles. The first one is quick slants and crossing routes. We cannot guard that in Jim Schwartz's scheme. And how do we expect our D-line to get to a veteran quarterback when he keeps checking into a crossing pass or a slant pass? He's not stupid. He knows the pass rush is coming, and so he changes it up to a quick slant, or they call that, and we can't do that under Jim Schwartz's system. The second thing is end arounds, wide receiver reverses, jet sweeps. We cannot do that. The opposing team goes into the game knowing that the Eagles have one of the best run defenses in the game, so they don't allow the running back to run against us. They do jet motions, jet sweeps, get the receivers involved. The Rams did it. The Niners did it. The Steelers did it. All with success. We can't stop them plays. And lastly, if all else fails, find where Nathan Gary is and target him, whether it be a tight end or wide receiver. He can't guard either. And at this point, I don't expect him to. I expect Jim Schwartz to get him out, but he refuses to do that. I mean, if you do them 3 things, you're going to have success on the Eagles defense. And it's very sad that you can adjust and switch it up to accommodate that and stop that. I understand Jalen Mills didn't have a great game on side of Slay. I understand the Steelers have a lot of weapons, but no type of adjustment. You just sat there and watched the game go, game go, game go. 5 consecutive scores. Touchdown, touchdown, field goal, touchdown, touchdown. You couldn't stop him at all. And then when you finally got some momentum, you fall back and put Nathan Gary in a spot he shouldn't be in. Now, I will say this. On Tuesday, I'm going to break down that play. Ronnie McLeod was part to blame on that play too, because he was supposed to stay over Nathan Gary. We know he's not good. We know Jim Schwartz had a bad game. But if Ronnie McLeod stays over top instead of biting on Juju Smith-Schuster's out route that Big Ben set up perfectly, do the out route, fool Ronnie McLeod, and hit Claypool one-on-one up the seam against Gary. Easily done. A layup, and we fell right into the trap, but that should have never been. Nathan Gary matched up with him, and Jim Schwartz had a horrible game plan the whole game. Just disgusting. But it was not just then. It was all game. I mean, Big Ben was perfect on 3rd downs. Now, they did not complete 2 3rd downs, but they ran the ball on them. But when it came to Big Ben, he was able to get whatever he wanted. He was able to read our defense like a comic book because it was a joke. it was laughable. And tackling was an issue. Not Darius Slay. He got it done on that end. But come on, Crevion LeBlanc. A big third down. Eric Ebron is a big guy. I understand that. But he had his back towards you. You could have got him. Just wrap up. He gets a first down, and that leads to the end around for like 70 yards in our territory. Just a demoralizing play. Now, I will say this. The referees were bad for both teams, and they got away with some big ones. The defensive pass interference to Darius Slay early. Like, how do you say incomplete, watch the wide receiver complain about the play, and then say, all right, you're right, flag on the play? That set him up for a touchdown. And don't get me started on the phantom Brandon Graham face mask. This was one thing. I was on my live play-by-play and I said, I want to see the replay. Well, Fox didn't show a replay. And I've never seen a player look at the Jumbotron and say, look, I didn't do it. He would have looked at it and said, dang, I did a wrong thing. He was screaming he didn't do it. The phantom face mask. I mean, it had to be. Why not show the replay on Fox then? I don't know. And on that interception, a lot of people are criticizing Carson Wentz for that, but I believe it was Zach Ertz not completing a route. And looking at it again, he definitely was bumped 8 to 9 yards deep. It should have been some type of penalty, which would not only gave us a first down and wouldn't have been a turnover, which gave them 7 points. So we constantly shot ourselves in the foot. And don't get me started on the 3 penalties we got on defense, offsides or neutral zone infraction on the defense. Fletcher Cox, a veteran. Josh Sweat, a guy who's coming into his own. And Jannard Avery. These 3 penalties are only 5-yard penalties, but they were almost all on third down. So instead of having them in third and long, where they actually have to hold the ball and pass it deeper, we gave them third and short, where Big Ben can bunch them up, pick us apart with crossing routes and slants. It was disgusting. Just an overall horrible performance on defense from the coaches to the players. And we over there see Rasul Douglas shining in Carolina. And now Sidney Jones gets his first start for the Jaguars, has an interceptions, deflects the ball for another interception, and has a total of, I believe, 3 or 4 pass deflections. Now, it could be first game luck, but it's funny that Rasul Douglas is balling and Sidney Jones in his first start with the Jaguars, an interception, a pass deflection that leads to an interception, and just multiple plays on defense. While we got guys who continue to struggle in this system. Look, I've been a Jim Schwartz supporter because there's games he does great, but there's games that he has a huge question mark on. And I always thought it was a talent, but I can't defend him. The scheme, the plays, the performances that he's getting is not good enough. It's not good enough. And so things are going to have to change. I don't know if we just say fire him right now, because who can we bring in? I know Dan Quinn just got fired. He's a great D coordinator. Maybe not the coach you want to have a lead with as the head coach, a la Atlanta losing to the Dallas, losing the Super Bowl, losing a lot of leads. But I do believe if you just give him defensive responsibilities, he will be good. There's guys out there, but I think that is a wait and see approach. Wait to see who's out there, and plus wait to see how this season goes. If we start to get a bunch of losses and the season's really over, which is going to be hard to be over in the NFC least, well then you make your move. And I believe the first move that has to be made before you get rid of Howie or before you do anything is get rid of Jim Schwartz. That would be the move, but I gotta say wait and see how this division pans out. And people can physically say to me, you really want to win this division just to get beat possibly in the first round? Yes, because my goal is to always be better than the Cowboys, the Giants, and the Washington football team. And if we can get a playoff win or just get playoff experience for number 11, it's important to me. If Carson Wentz is healthy and he's in the playoffs, I want to see how he responds in a playoff game. Not get knocked out from an illegal hit from Jadeveon Clowney, but I want to see, win or lose, how he responds with whoever's around him, healthy or not, in the playoffs. So I'll take first place in the NFC least. With all that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comments. My final thoughts are the offense didn't play great, but they did enough to get us a win. The defense totally let us down from personnel, from play calling, and from discipline with getting crucial penalties to hurt defensive drives. Like I said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and we really might be doing a Travis Fulgham giveaway really soon. So stay tuned. Make sure you turn post notifications on and follow your boy on Twitter. I didn't put the green screen in yet, so I don't know where it's going to be, but follow your boy on Twitter. Until next time, you know what time it is. We out.